I guess that this was a non-contest between balancing some degree of risk and achieving a very much more positive result. As you know, in Japan, mistakes are not allowed, and the best way to avoid a mistake is to do nothing different or new. Konnichiwa and welcome to the Leadership Japan series. I'm your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Story, President of Dale Carnegie Training Japan, broadcasting from Minato-ku in the center of Tokyo. And much more importantly, you are a student of leadership, highly motivated to be the best in your business field. I do 3 weekly podcasts, and if you're interested in presentations, search for the Presentation Japan series. If you're interested in sales, look for the Sales Japan series wherever you get your podcast. We publish this podcast, the Leadership Japan series, every week, Wednesday at midnight, Tokyo time. Today's show is brought to you by our Dale Carnegie course. This course focuses on the 5 drivers of business success: confidence, communication, leadership, people skills, and stress management. This course is running at a 98.3% average satisfaction rate over the last 5 years. So we know it works well in Japan. Host it in-house or send people to our public programs. If you have a performance or people challenge in Japan, then contact me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. We have a truckload of great stuff for you over at our website, japan.dalecarnegie.com. So check it out. Look out for the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show coming soon on YouTube. Before we get going, today's handy Japanese phrase is "Do surebai ii desu ka?" What should I do? Do surebai ii desu ka? What should I do? Do surebai ii desu ka? If there's some question that comes up, need some assistance from someone, give you some advice, some direction, you can ask, "Do surebai ii desu ka? Do surebai ii desu ka?" What should I do? Do surebai ii desu ka? This is episode number 206, and today we are talking about Japan still scared of its own shadow. The world's 3rd largest economy and one of the most sophisticated and advanced countries is a notorious underperformer on the international stage. I was reminded of this by Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike. She was a guest speaker at a foreign chamber event, drawing a capacity crowd. She is whip smart, charismatic, and knows how to charm the crowd. She speaks Arabic fluently, and her English is simply excellent. Yet, she chose to address the assembled chamber members in Japanese, not in English. What an opportunity missed to show Tokyo and Japan's internationalism. Having been a diplomat, I know how these events are totally scripted beforehand, so nothing can possibly go wrong. The event featured a series of questions from the director of the chamber to Koike. These questions were all vetted prior to the event, so Koike had complete knowledge of what she was going to be asked. They were all softball questions anyway, which made them easy to handle. The foreign chamber is never going to get aggressive with the governor of Tokyo, so Koike was amongst firm friends. Yet, she switched to Japanese after making some flawless, off-the-cuff comments in English at the beginning. This included cracking a joke about Channel 3 of the headsets were receiving the translation in Arabic. That was witty, and said to everyone she was a very confident person in dealing with foreign languages. At the end, she switched back to perfect English again. More witticisms followed, and then she elegantly glided out the door. Why didn't she do the whole piece in English? She obviously had the ability. Yes, it was on the record, and there were members of the Japanese media there recording her comments. So by speaking in Japanese, she could play to the broader populace of Tokyo. Here is our governor effortlessly dealing with foreigners type of thing. You may have noticed that the governor of Tokyo does not want for media attention. Here was an opportunity to work on the non-Japanese media, to work on the Japan fans and boosters in the room. Projecting Tokyo as a truly international city was always a stretch, under her long-reigning predecessor Shintaro Ishihara because he was so parochial in his views. Koike is a breath of fresh air in that regard and could have played an effective role of evangelist for Tokyo, speaking directly to the foreign community. She distributed some very high-quality books on Tokyo to the audience, which were first-rate exemplars of the sophistication of the capital. She could have worked the room and converted everyone to fandom, but she chose to retreat into Japanese. She could have chosen to make her main remarks in English and then answer the questions at the end in Japanese or rely on the simultaneous translators. I know from my own public speaking experience in Japanese that the questions at the end can be difficult to follow at times. However, she had simple options to get around that issue, which she chose not to exercise. Why? We see again and again Japan scared to step out. Soft power should be a tremendous advantage for Japan, but it consistently decides not to take it up. Koike's luncheon event is another example. The conservative bureaucrats in the governor's office were, no doubt, laser focused on eliminating all risk. Speaking in English is risky, so let's not do that. What about the upside? I guess that this was a non-contest between balancing some degree of risk and achieving a very much more positive result. As we know in Japan, mistakes are not allowed, and the best way to avoid a mistake is to do nothing different or new. Isn't it time we started to work on this construct? In our companies, we need to embrace change, to allow failure as a learning process, to have our BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals, which take us out of our comfort zone. Leaders like Koike would be fantastic role models for this country if they chose to play that role. They choose not to. And so Japanese companies continue and Japan itself continues to fly under the radar. When will Japan be ready to become a player on the world stage in international business or global relations? Don't hold your breath in anticipation of things changing soon when the best and the brightest decline the challenge. Thank you for joining the Leadership Japan series, and we hope you enjoyed today's show, brought to you by the Dale Carnegie course. As mentioned, if you have a performance or people challenge in Japan, then contact me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Also remember to access all the good information there for you on our website. It's at japan.dalecarnegie.com. Check out my other podcasts, the Presentation Japan series and the Sales Japan series, wherever you get your podcasts. Shortly, we will be launching the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show on YouTube, so look out for that. In our next episode, we'll be talking about where is my praise?